So, your personal brand is not fucking working. And I can promise you, even if you posted 117 times a day, it would still not get you any clients. Because the real problem is that everything you put out is engineered to get likes and views, not fucking clients. Those two are completely different games, my friend. And if you're anything like me, you've probably been playing the wrong one for a good couple of years. Likes aren't going to pay your bills, and nobody hires a stranger because they think they're clever or they're funny. They only hire someone when they want to get a fucking result. Right now, your content might make you look clever, your edits might be clean, but nobody actually trusts you. Now, I've worked with over 25 founders implementing these exact 3 shifts I'm about to tell you in this video, which generated them over £720,000 in 6 months. So if you make the shifts, you'll start turning strangers into clients effortlessly. But if you miss them, you'll spend another year shouting into the noise of bullshit online, which will land you right back on this video. So let's get into it. Now, shift 1 is stop telling people what to do and just start showing them what you did. Right now, your bio probably says something like founder, strategist, coach, some word that means absolutely nothing. And I know this because mine does it too. Everyone's does. But our audience is completely numb to that fact. Telling people you're an expert is the least convincing thing you could possibly do because anyone can state it. But stop saying it and just start proving it instead. Here's the bit that most people get completely wrong when it comes to content. They will just mindlessly shout at their audience. You need to build your business like this, or you need to write your hooks like I do. If you want to make money, then follow my 3-step strategy now. That's what it sounds like. But what you don't realize is that if you're telling your audience what to do, it'll always come across as preaching. And that preaching is what's going to put you on a pedestal above your audience. And that is where you find the separation. You think you might be helping them, but what you're doing is just distancing yourself. And hey, this isn't me just bullshitting or making shit up. There's an actual principle behind all of this. Scientists call it psychological reactance. The second a human feels told what to do, their brain will always push back against the instruction itself, even when the advice is good. Think back to when you was a kid, right? Your parents, your teachers, do your homework, go clean your fucking room, blah, 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 blah. That's how you hear it, right? Because you're being told what to do. That itself is psychological reactance in effect. You still hated being told what to do, even if you literally needed to go and do it. That is reactance, and your audience is no different. So instead, let's flip it. Show them what you did, tell them your story, share your experiences, and let them draw their own conclusions. I want you to lead the horse to water, but you never force it to drink it. Because when they reach that conclusion themselves, when they choose it, that's when the trust gets built, because it was their choice, not a demand from you. They chose to trust you, they're following your example, not living under your dictatorship of how you should run your business or make your content. And again, there's science underneath all of this, because I know you guys love the science. On this channel, we build personal brands that focus on human connection and trust. So I'm going to show you all the proof of how this applies to your content. Now, this one is called the IKEA effect. And yes, funnily enough, it's named after the big blue and yellow furniture shop from Sweden, because people value what they build themselves. Someone who puts that flat pack together with their own hands, suddenly that's not just a shelf anymore. It's their fucking shelf. And it'll stick 20 times harder because they built it. And it's the same thing with any idea you present in your content. If you let them assemble the conclusion first, it becomes theirs. But if you hand them that exact same conclusion as an order and a demand, now it's just your opinion, something they might argue with or disagree with. And the second you force it down someone's throat or preach it from this pedestal is the second you lose it to someone who simply shows what they did. So start showing in your content and stop fucking telling. Now, the second shift is to get fucking vulnerable, but do it on purpose. Because most people online do one of two things, and both of them kill trust. Either they perform this non-stop highlight reel. They'll be crushing it, another record month, another Stripe screenshot. So blessed. But all that does is it just makes people think you're a scammer lying through your teeth, and it just pushes them even further away because they don't see the real shit. They only see the wins. Or they know vulnerability builds trust, so they go too far the other way and they just moan in every single video. They're trauma dumping every problem onto their audience like it's some sort of therapy session. And one of them will make you look fake. The other one will make you look exhausted. And nobody's buying from either. So here's what actually works for me and my clients, because I'm showing and not telling. The messy, embarrassing, I nearly quit moments is the struggle you want to show. And you do it on purpose. You show them exactly what you went through, what you want them to see, and that you had the same problem that they've got right now, but you always tie it to what you learned or what you built on the other side of that problem. That itself is the difference between strategically being vulnerable or just trauma dumping your problems on camera. Because here's the thing, right? No one's gonna believe your outcomes unless you show them the entire journey. How can they believe that you got to the end if you haven't shown the way you got there? They're going to assume you faked it or you're a scammer by law of default. I don't know if that's a law, but it makes sense. Think about one of the greatest films ever, in my opinion anyway, The Pursuit of Happiness. Great fucking film. Everyone loves Will Smith, but that film does not start with him being rich, successful, and killing it at the top of the game. It opens with him being broke, sleeping in a train station toilet with his kid, grinding through the lowest point of his life. That itself is exactly why you're gripped. And it's why the win at the end actually now means something. But if you cut that journey and just start with him at the top of the game, there's no belief. There's just some bloke telling you he's rich, which, funnily enough, is everyone on your Instagram feeds. Your content is no different. But hey, I know what you're thinking, I can read your mind. You think, if I show people I've struggled, they'll think I can't do what I say I can. It'll ruin my reputation. You could not be more wrong. Honestly, it's so backwards. And guess what we're gonna show you? Some more science, my friends. Scientists call this one the beautiful mess effect. People will always judge your own vulnerability way more kindly than you judge your own. They will always have a better perception of you when you're vulnerable than you have of yourself. What feels like weakness from the inside reads as courage to everyone else from the outside. So that story you're hiding because it's embarrassing is the exact one that makes people trust you. But you're just too afraid to tell it. There's a clear through line through what you should say in your content. What's the difference between these next two lines, right? I'll make an example. I provided a shit service to my first client. On its own, you are moaning and showing that you cannot get results for the people you help. Big red flag. But let's add a little bit more context and be strategically vulnerable. I provided a shit service to my first client, but here's what it taught me and how it got my next one to 100K a month. Now that's insane trust. You went through the same mess, you're showing the same struggle and the same problem, but through a different frame and a different lens, which now positions you as a much more trustworthy person. However, that's a very embarrassing story. You fucked up. But now it's your biggest superpower because you've gone to the bottom and you've come back to the top. You're not starting at the top. Now you have trust. So I want you to go through your own story and pick the struggles that actually taught you something. Those failures, those walls you hit, or the things you were most embarrassed about, the moments you nearly quit, those are the ones you need to share. And always with a lesson attached. Because when you go first to your audience, when you take that risk to be real, your audience feels safe to trust you back. You're not the guru who's never lost and banging on about how perfect he is and how fucking nice his jawline is and some other shit. It's just not applicable. You're now the human who lost, figured it out, and came back to show them the way and how you did it, with exactly what they're struggling with in this very second and why they should trust you over the guru. You're always gonna beat that guy, especially in this era of bullshit online. Now the third and final shift is position yourself just a few steps ahead. I like to call this one the in pursuit method. Now this one's different because it ties both shifts 1 and 2 together. These first two shifts we've just gone on about, showing instead of telling and strategic vulnerability, they don't happen by accident. You have to be intentional with them and they happen on purpose. But the second you get this positioning right, by positioning yourself as just a few steps ahead, they start happening automatically. Think about it, right? If you see yourself as a guru who's already made it, they're up on that pedestal, you're gonna preach, you're gonna perform, you're gonna tell everyone how good you are, and you're gonna hide the reality and the struggle of what you're going through. Because a guru is just terrified of how it might damage their reputation if they're honest. Terrified of ever being seen to have once failed because it's gonna damage their ego. Someone who's still on that climb, still learning in real time, who's just got a problem his audience has and now has solved it, that showing instead of preaching, the honesty about the messy bits, the vulnerability, all of it just comes naturally because it's who you are in that exact position right now. The vulnerability and the showing of what you're doing are byproducts of operating in this positioning, being in pursuit. Okay, stop asking me for scientific proof. I'll show you again. This one's called self-efficacy. People are only gonna act on what they believe is achievable for them. So that guru who's a million miles away is always gonna be intimidated to people because it feels unattainable. And subconsciously, the audience switches off when watching that person. But the person who's just a few steps ahead, maybe a couple of chapters up, they turn around to show them the pages that they've already turned. Now, that feels doable to their audience. That feels inspiring, that feels attainable. And that is the person who people follow and who they're gonna buy from. So please, I am begging you, stop trying to look like you have everything figured out and that you've arrived and you are perfect. You are not, my friend. You never need to be the finished article, especially in online business. You just need to be a few steps ahead. and be honest about where you are in your current climb. If you nail that positioning, the first 2 shifts take care of themselves. So, let's bring it all home, baby. 3 shifts. Show them what to do instead of telling them what to do, get vulnerable on purpose, and position yourself just a few steps ahead. Now, if you notice every single one of these, what I'm actually doing, none of these are content hacks. They're all just building the exact same thing. Trust. Showing instead of telling builds trust in what you know. Strategic vulnerability builds trust in who you are, and positioning a few steps ahead builds trust that they can do it too. That is it. That's the whole game in 3 shifts with a few scientific backups for proof, because you guys didn't believe me. Christ. So if you walk away from this video with one piece of information, let it be this. Nobody buys from the person with the best hooks or the cleanest edits. They will buy from the person they trust the most. And when someone genuinely trusts you, you do not have to chase them, convince them, or sell them a single thing. They come to you already pre-sold because your content's done all the heavy lifting, quietly earning their trust every single video. Now, one thing about that word fast in the title, I want to be straight with you guys and honest, because that is all the point in this video. This is not going to happen overnight. Nobody's inbox floods with dream clients tomorrow off the back of one vulnerable video. However, it is the fastest way to stop shouting into the void of bullshit online and sounding like everyone else. It is miles quicker than grinding out another year of clever hooks and clean edits that get you likes and views, but precisely 0 fucking clients. If you do these 3 consistently, you will start turning strangers into consistent buyers. And that's it from me today, guys. My watch has fallen off again. So, if that video landed, go and hit subscribe. I'm putting out more on content strategy for your personal brand and exactly how to land clients, plus a few messy vlogs of me just being me. Some no guru shit. But if you enjoyed that video, then go and press one of these 2 videos now and watch some more personal branding source, or me being a little bit retarded. I'll probably have to bleep that word. Anyway, that's enough from me. See you in the next one.